Okay, so seawalls, in many ways, they're very, very simple. You are just building out of concrete, and that is why it's hard engineering, a seawall, again, parallel to, not perpendicular, it's the opposite this time, parallel to the coastline that you want to protect. Now, these are very, very effective. They are expensive. I think you're talking over £1,000 pounds per meter. Yep, so they're very expensive, but they also kind of last 100 years. So they're very, very good at what they do. The downside is they are quite ugly. You know, if you're a hotel owner or a tourist, you'd probably much rather go to a natural beach than one covered in concrete. So, you know, there is a bit of an argument, and stakeholders, tourist, first local, fishermen, might have differing opinions. But what you're essentially doing, and I'm going to draw a cross profile down here, so a cross section. Yep. What you're doing is you have your beach, you build your wall, and then you have your village. And what happens is those destructive waves that we talked about, they will come up the beach, swash and backwash and all of this. And the energy that they carry, that comes from the wind, that comes from the sun, it will just simply crash into the seawall. The seawall will absorb that energy, and the coastline will be protected. Very, very good at what they do. The negatives is that if you stop erosion, and this is very good, you know, as long as you understand this, you're in a good place. But if you stop erosion here, well, then there's going to be no transportation. And what you'll see is there will be an increase in erosion down the coastline. Okay, so somebody living here is going to be very upset because there's more and more erosion, because the beach will be diminished, because the sand is not being replaced. There's no erosion. If there's no erosion, there's no transportation. If there's no transportation, there's no deposition. Okay, so it is seen as being quite disruptive to the environment, but the positives are it's incredibly effective. It's a long-term solution. The downside is it's very expensive and is pretty unnatural. Okay, that is an exam question of us applying coastal management techniques into our writing. So here is our question. As always, we need to bug it. Box the command word, which is examine. It's not a very common exam word, but for me, you can substitute it for explain. Okay, so check out my exam masterclass videos on explain if you need some support with that. We then see that advantages and disadvantages must be mentioned, so it must be balanced. And for me, this means that the connective we're going to need is however, because that allows us to talk about the advantages before bringing in the disadvantages. And it's about coastal defences. So this is the image. I'm going to flash it up quickly, pause it and have a look in detail as to what you think the coastal defences are. I'm going to break it down here. I personally don't love this image. My eyesight might be going, but the only ones I'm sure I can see are groins. The rest are kind of up to interpretation. There's some gabions there maybe, but to me that looks like beach nourishment, but I can't really be sure, so I'm a bit nervous about writing that in the exam. But the ones I'm sure are groins. There's potentially a seawall back here as well. Your eyesight might be better than mine. I don't love this image because it's not so clear. So let's check the mark scheme and see what we could have written. If we look at the mark scheme, we have got jumping out is seawalls, rock groins. I think this is some rock armor as well, and sediment may be being used to add sediment. Terrible sentence, but that's beach nourishment. So I think you're in the clear if you write about beach nourishment and groins, seawalls as well. Okay, so remember I said there are lots like rock armor, but if you remember 4, you should be in the clear. There is some AO3 and AO4. That's basically your point, and then your second is your application. So your use of connectors really gets you the AO4 marks. So what I'm going to say is this is your structure. Your point developed 3 times, and here at the bottom, however, to provide you with that disadvantage, okay? I'm going to write one, and I'm going to encourage you to finish the essay, write the second paragraph or the second 3 sentences, and post it in the comment section, and then I'll be able to give you some feedback if I can find the time, which I should be able to. So let's get into my version. I did it on beach nourishment because I like talking about it. I'm confident in that. So one type of coastal defense in the image is beach nourishment. This is my point. Everything else that I write is going to be linked to beach nourishment because sediment is being added to the beach by the digger. So I'm showing that I'm using the resource to add the information in, okay? Keyword being sediment. So let's then apply it. Let's get those AO 4 marks for our application. As a result, the sediment is being removed by the destructive waves, and longshore drift is being replaced. Okay, so I'm using my understanding of the process, destructive waves, longshore drift, replaced. Okay, well that's all positive, isn't it? I'm showing that there is a natural process that is being kind of replaced by humans, and that's all great. So let's look at the however. However, this is unsustainable. Nice tier 2 word. Unsustainable means a pattern of behavior that can't be continued. It's unsustainable. And as it will need to be continuously replenished. We talked about in the video of the dog chasing its tail. This is what I kind of tend to think of as a metaphor for beach nourishment. You know, how long are you going to do this for? Are you going to do this forever? Okay. For me, that is enough to get 4 marks. And then if I write a second piece similar to this using the same connectives, I reckon I can get myself 8 out of 8. Okay, so have a go, post it in the comment section, and then see if you can get 100%. Like and subscribe for future videos. Check out the masterclass series on exam technique, and good luck in those GCSEs in the final few weeks.